Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Tentative Tarot. Thank you so much for being here. So in today's reading, we are going to start by taking a few cards just to see what's on your heart right now. So this can serve as an energy check of sorts. If this is something that you're wanting to hear more about, you can stick around. So after that, we will pull some more cards to dig a little bit deeper on the situation. My goal with this is going to be to see sort of why this situation is on your heart right now, what tensions maybe are present, what narratives might need to be kind of reassessed, what energies are asking for more attention, things like that. But essentially the goal will be to help give you some insight or guidance that would help you more clearly align with whatever it is that you want. Finally, we'll pull a few cards, just some messages of advice, whether on this situation or something else. So as with all tarot readings, please make sure to take only what resonates and leave the rest behind. And I think that's it. So let's go ahead and look at your pile options for today. So for pile number 1, we have the Good Tarot with this green calcite on top. For pile number 2, we've got the Hanson-Roberts Tarot with this blue Apatite on top. And for pile 3, we've got the Muse Tarot with this piece of Amazonite on top. So go ahead, take as much time as you need to decide which of these piles you are feeling the most drawn to today. You can pause the video if you need more time. But once you've decided which pile you're going to listen to, you can scroll down to the description box or the pinned comment, click on the timestamp that corresponds to your reading, and I will see you there. Hi Pile 1. If you chose the Good Tarot or this green calcite, welcome to your reading. Okay, so let's go ahead and start, get those tarot cards out of the way, with some pre-shuffled oracle cards for you so we can get a sense of what's on your heart currently. And this can serve as an energy check of sorts, so if this matches something that you're going through and you want to hear more about, you can stick around. Okay, so first we have this card that says Gift. May you receive the gifts that await. And then we have number 23 with the mice. And then we have number 16 with self-centered. That's fascinating. I was meditating on your energy before we started and I saw sunflowers in my head. Not so much because these are here, but that's interesting that I'm seeing those. Okay, so what's going on right now? I'm getting this sense, pile 1, that something is nagging at you. And I'm wondering whether it's preventing you from seeing the gifts that are coming to you. I'm not sure it's precisely that though. It seems more like there are little things that are on your mind that are, you know, nagging things. The mice represent something that it's not a huge problem, but if you don't deal with it, it's going to become a huge problem. You know, so I'm thinking there are these things that you're needing to deal with that are taking your attention and your focus. I'm taking this self-centered card not to mean what we would typically see here, but actually to say like you're needing to be focused on whatever this is right now. It's possible that it's coming out this way because maybe you're somebody who's typically quite giving and right now you're needing to tend to something of your own. But whatever it is, this is taking up a lot of your time, energy, attention. This card right here with Gift, may you receive the gifts that await. This energy feels so uplifting. The energy I was getting when I was meditating beforehand were these like clear blue skies, clear blue water, you know, the beach on a sunny day, lush gardens, things like that. And I wonder if that's coming to you next. It's like right now your focus is here, so you're not seeing that that's coming. I don't get the sense that it's any kind of reward, like, oh, okay, you're going to handle this and then you're going to achieve something else. I mean, I hope that you do, but that's not the energy that I'm getting here. I'm getting, and I'm not necessarily getting that, like, you're not seeing something good, like, oh, be more grateful. Not that at all. It's more like your attention is here, and meanwhile, kind of good things are lining up for you, and so you're going to kind of turn around surprised, like, oh, wow, there's, like, something really beautiful and happy coming for me that I just didn't even see because my focus was probably rightly like on one or many things that were taking your attention. So if that seems like something that you're going through right now, let's pull a little bit of tarot so we can find out more about it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Trying to see if I can get them all in here. These are quite large cards, so. Yeah, that's not all in the frame. I should move them up. Hold, please. These are definitely gonna get squeezed in, but that's okay. And then I don't know if we've got room for the bottom of the deck anywhere, but we've got the Three of Earth or the Three of Pentacles. And I'm gonna put this over to the side. I can see it, but I'm sorry, it's not in in the frame. Okay. I'm just moving these so I can see them better, but I will try to put them back. Try to remember to put them back. Okay. What's going on for you, pile one? Yeah, I get the sense that you are definitely feeling exhausted right now. I'm getting this message that it's sort of all you can do right now to tend to the care of yourself, and you know, if you have a family or anyone dependent on your care, to care for your family as well. But essentially your energy is being taken up right now, and again, I think quote unquote rightly so, if you, not to put a judgment on it, but I don't, this is not a criticism is the point. I think your energy's been going to, I don't want to say survival mode because it doesn't feel that way, but basically like just getting through each day, dealing with the things that you need to deal with. Yeah, like you don't have extra space or energy for passion, excitement, curiosity, creativity in the way that you would like to. I'm not saying that none of that, you know, permeates your days, but I think right now, all of the energy that might be able to go to that in a way that you'd like, that you've experienced before, that feels more life-giving for you, right now that energy is being used to kind of handle whatever issue this is that we were talking about here with the mice. I think there's this part of you though that's holding on to sort of waiting for your ships to come in. I don't know whether that's a like, and I know that's not typically the meaning of this card, but that's what I'm seeing in the imagery. I don't know whether it's like, you know that this good is coming to you. I was sort of pausing because I was wondering, is it like I almost daydream to escape this? Like the way that you're handling this exhaustion is to daydream a bit. Again, I know not the traditional meaning of this card, but I sort of think that it is. It's sort of like, what adventure will I get to go on next? Like an indulging of your dreams, your fantasies, your emotions. And it could be like an escape from this stuff, like in an actual way. Like say that you're exhausted because your job is really stressful right now, and so this is like a dreaming about a new job. It could be that specific, but I'm not necessarily getting that. I think that whatever this is, there are things you're excited about that you know will be life-giving and meaningful to you emotionally, that kind of in quiet moments when you're not giving all of your energy here, or maybe as you're falling asleep or as you're waking up or things like that, your heart is calling out for these other things. And I wonder if it feels so clear here, like if you're starting to get, like if these aren't just like random daydreams where you're like, one day I'll be a pop star. I have no idea why that's the example that came to mind, but anyway. I don't so much get that from this. I'm getting more of this, like, these are the things that could be different in my life, or these are the adventures that I want to go on in a really real, meaningful way that you'd like to ground. And I wonder if you're sort of feeling torn because you're like, wait, like these daydreams are feeling like more than daydreams. They're feeling like hopes, like goals. And this energy that you have where you're like having to deal with something is sort of preventing you from taking action on this right now. So you're seeing it, but you're not having it, I suppose. The energy that you are most recently in, that the cards want to call to your attention with this messenger of air, that's like the Knight of Swords typically. I'm getting this very intellectual energy from you. I'm getting this sense that you relied on your intellect, that you wanted to figure things out. I suspect that right now, perhaps some of the stress and exhaustion you've been under is that you haven't been able to rely on this energy. Like perhaps you just had to do, even if you didn't know. And that can be really stressful for anybody, but especially if you're somebody who has a strong intellect and is good at figuring things out, and that's a strong way that you use to solve problems, a strong coping mechanism, but not necessarily with a negative connotation there, right? Like a healthy way of coping is to learn more about it, to figure things out. That you recently came out of this energy, probably because you had to just do, to just handle things. And again, I suspect with these kind of dreams that have been forming for you, again, those are not necessarily like, oh, I'm going to dream of a new job to replace the one that's stressful. I don't think it's that either. So I think you're kind of coming out of this energy, which I suspect was exhausting, again, in and of itself, just because you've had to form different coping strategies here. And to be clear, I don't think that means you can never use that coping strategy again. I think it just means recently you realized like you had to stop relying there as much. Okay. Apparently I picked this up, so we want to talk about this next, which I wasn't planning on, but here we are. The Three of Cups, this is the energy of something going on in this situation that you're not seeing clearly, like going on subconsciously for you. My eyes are going straight for these pearls. I'm immediately hearing pearls of wisdom. I wonder if, like, what you're not seeing is how much wisdom you have, like, in your emotions, in your dreams. And as much as this is probably a really frustrating situation, and as I said, you've had to kind of have this coping strategy that has served you well in the past taken away, if you will, or perhaps you've chosen to move out of it. I'm feeling a little bit more like it was forcibly taken, but take it how it resonates. The sense that I'm getting is actually what that's doing is it's making space for the wisdom of your emotions to speak to you. That's actually like a fairly creative driving force that we've got going on in this scenario. So these like daydreams that probably started for you just to kind of escape from the exhaustion you were feeling, I think they're coming from a really wise place within you. Then we've got the Two of Earth, or the Two of Pentacles here for what you do know is contributing to this. I mean, I think you're busy. I think that's quite clear. I think that you're trying to manage more than one thing. I wonder whether you know, I'm thinking of this image in the Rider-Waite-Smith and how there's, you know, choppy waters in the back, but the person in the picture is not facing them. I wonder if that's exactly the point here. You're focused on what it is that you know you have going on in the material world. You're using your energy to deal with that. These daydreams on the side, you're not really looking at or recognizing the impact that's having emotionally, or what's even going on with your emotions at all. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm not necessarily getting the sense that you're like neglecting the emotional experience of doing this or of juggling so much. I'm more so getting the sense that because you are focused on these things, again, not wrongly, it's sort of making you oblivious to how much wisdom there is in this emotion that's rising for you. So the energy that you're moving into in the near future is the Chariot, which is really exciting. I think I'm getting the sense that this is very driven by these emotions that you're having, by these dreams. But again, I don't get the sense that you're leaving. Like, whatever is going on for you that's causing this stress, I'm not getting the sense that you're leaving this behind. I'm just getting the sense that you're kind of like, okay, life is hard and it's busy and I need to fulfill my heart also. And so, like, knowing both of those things are true, like, how can I listen to my heart and my emotions and let them guide me without dropping these commitments that I have here? I keep wondering whether travel is involved here. And that could be literal travel. It could also be, you know, like a spiritual call, whether there's something you're exploring spiritually. And that could be like in a very explicit sense, or it could be your own self-growth, whether that's like looking into passions or friendships or relationship or, you know, volunteer work or a job or whatever it might be in your life, but things that light you up, but like in a very heart-centered way. Like, what is it that's speaking to your heart? And I get the sense that there's like exploration of that coming for you in the very near future. And I'm wondering if it's talking about like receiving the gifts that await. If that's kind of what this is, like, may you receive these gifts. It's like, even though things are really hard right now, like, may you recognize that you still deserve, I would say need, the gifts that are coming. So if an opportunity is presenting itself for something and your heart sings, I think the cards are suggesting, listen. And I think that you're planning on it. I mean, based on the fact that this is the energy that's coming here. Okay. What you are trying to do to cope with this is, as you might imagine, survive. Carry it all yourself. You see this figure and she's trying to juggle all of these flaming pieces of paper. If she doesn't keep juggling, she's going to catch fire, right? So she has to keep juggling all of them. But of course, this sort of action leads to burnout. Like, she can't do this forever. So she's going to get burned one way or the other. I think this is the exhaustion that we're worried about here, right? Like, again, not wrong that you're tending to whatever you're tending to, but I wonder if this is kind of suggesting in moving forward in a way that integrates both of these things, that's asking you to say, yes, like, all of these flaming papers will still be here for you. And in fact, maybe you can juggle some of them while you're going about whatever it is you're going about here. But I think right now your focus is really just on continuing to juggle, which is why you're probably feeling quite exhausted, and like these dreams probably need to stay dreams. I keep thinking about how these darker cards are like bringing this self-centered card to my attention. I wonder whether you think that it's self-centered to take action for yourself. Because when I saw this card come out, I was so surprised because the energy that I was sitting in was so positive and beautiful. And I wonder if it's this, like, I need to stay focused on productivity and what I need to do for other people, and on this kind of Ten of Wands energy, because it would be self-centered to do otherwise. I wonder. Okay, the energy that is around you that's influencing you right now with the Queen of Wands. Take a sip of water. Normally when you get a court card in the space of energy around you, this refers to somebody else. But I'm not getting that sense. I'm getting the sense that this is either something that you aspire to, like a dream that you have of energy that you'd like to embody. So if you're not familiar with the Queen of Wands energy, right? She is beautiful, she is charismatic, she is giving. She's attractive, sure, in a traditional way, but also in all kinds of intangible ways, right? Like, she's full of life. She shines like the sun. People want to be around her naturally, even if they don't know why. And some people might say it's because she's so giving. Some might say it's because she's so beautiful, right? Different things like this. But what they're not seeing is that she makes them feel more whole, more loved, more like they can be in their authentic energy, more like they're loved, accepted, nurtured in all these ways. I think people feel more alive around her, and I think she just really radiates a creative life force. So I think it's possible that for some of you, the energy that's influencing you is that you're wanting to be able to embody this energy, especially thinking of it in relation to others. And you're having to focus on these issues you're having, you know, either dealing with yourself or with your family or with your job, or, you know, something very close to you that's taking your attention away from maybe your broader community. I think the other possibility is that this energy is like, you haven't recognized that you are this energy. Like, people experience you this way, and so even if your attention is not on this, and perhaps it has been in the past and that's why it's strange, people are still getting this from you. So I'm almost wondering if this is like, I almost have like a ghost energy that's around you. That's not quite right, but like, whether that's from previous investments you've had and people are still reading you that way, or whether you loving and taking care of yourself is still offering that energy to others. Whatever the case, it's like the Queen of Wands energy is living within you, whether as a dream or as a current. It's just not something you're currently focused on, but I think it is impacting this situation. I wonder if in large part because it's like influencing you thinking of yourself in a self-centered way. It's like, oh, well, I'm used to embodying this for other people, and right now I'm having to focus on things for myself. And I wonder if that, maybe it's even, maybe I was wrong with all that. Maybe it's an expectation that you have been trying to live up to. One way or the other, this energy is a ghost that is haunting you. I don't think it's an external person. It could be, of course, but I think it's more so energy that's calling to you, haunting you in some way that's impacting the way that you see yourself, and I think incorrectly. Okay, so hopes and fears, right? The hopes and fears that are currently impacting the situation. I know the moon can be a like confusing, underwater with your emotions kind of card sometimes. I don't get that from this card. I get this sense that she's getting to live in her dreams, that her heart is allowed to sing. So I think this is what you want. But I think it's also scary because you worry that that's going to be self-centered, that it's not possible, that it means you're going to neglect these other things. And so I wonder if the gifts that are coming to you, I wonder if it's saying like, no, like let whatever gifts come, let them relieve you of these burdens so that you can lean more into this energy. And then for our final card here, kind of like the key to the solution or outcome that you're looking for. With the Two of Air or the Two of Swords here, you know, I heard a reader say the other day something about, you know, it doesn't have to be one or the other. There's a third solution. It could absolutely be that. I'm getting more of a sense of look clearly at your options, really listen to how your heart responds to them, and make the choices that feel grounded in your heart. Like sometimes tending to these hard things around us are choices that feel really grounded in our heart, right? So I think for you, that's fine. I think it's less about the choice that you're making and more about being grounded in your heart. And I would say moreover, as this is like in the suit of air or swords, right? That's about our thoughts. I think actually what it's calling you to do more so is to shift your thoughts here and say, hold on, like things are hard right now. And I'm having to focus on myself, my family, my job, whatever it is, but not on my broader community in the way that I'm used to. But that doesn't mean that I'm self-centered, right? And so like I'm making these choices from a really heart-based place because I think it's the right thing to do. And I think that's going to allow you to move more smoothly into whatever is coming next for you, because I do think something exciting is coming next for you, whether it's travel, whether it's some kind of new project, journey, if you will, whatever it is. I think it's going to be expansive for you. I think it's going to make your heart sing. I think your heart is ready for a new chapter, I would say. And I think by telling a different story, even about the same exact choices you're making right now, I think that will open space for you. You know, I'm thinking of the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery where like the swords are crossed in an X over the heart space of the person. I think it's like it'll allow those swords to uncross, right? And you'll be able to hear your heart by telling a different story, by speaking more clear truth basically about yourself and about your situation. And I think that will enable you to receive these gifts in a way that is really aligned with your heart space. It's interesting that we've got this like Three of Pentacles card as the bottom of the deck. I usually read bottom of the deck as like a chapter that is closing. I wonder whether this is something that's like it's time to be more independent for you. Like the Three of Pentacles often has a like working together kind of energy. And I wonder whether you are worried, like if you follow your own heart, like will it mean that you're not there for others in the way that you have been in the past, or just collaborative, cooperative in the way that you have been in the past? You might well be again, but I do wonder if this chapter is asking you to focus on something for yourself and to tell stories about, I want to say like the sacred journey of self and of focus on yourself here. All right, I want to be attentive to the time. I did say I would pull a card of advice for you, and so if we have any final advice, see for pile number 1. I think it's about travel. I think it's about travel. Like I said, it could be travel, literally, it could be travel in your mind and your heart, but whatever it is, I think it's travel, and I think it's clear communication with yourself. So I think it really is echoing that, but with a little bit of extra emphasis on let yourself dream and let yourself go. So if there's something that you're wanting to do that you're not letting yourself do, please do it. I think that's very much what the cards are encouraging for you today. Okay, so pile 1, I think those are all of the messages that I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this reading and found it helpful in some way. If you did, please feel free to like the video, share, subscribe, comment, let me know how it resonates, whatever feels good to you. But whatever the case, I am sending you so much love, and I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Please take care. Bye. Hey pile 2, welcome to your reading. If you chose the Hanson-Roberts Tarot and the blue Apatite, you're at the right place. I'm just going to put your tarot aside for now. We're going to start with some pre-shuffled oracle cards to get a sense of what it is that's on your heart right now that the reading wants to talk to you about. And if that sounds like something you want to know more about, stick around. Okay, so first we have Flourish, May You Thrive and Blossom. As well as Thanks, May Gratitude Lift You Up. We've got number 42, Aligned. And finally number 21, The Mountains. Right away, for some reason, the fact that 42 is double 21 is calling my attention for whatever that's worth. Okay. So when I was tapping into your energy, I was seeing clouded thoughts. Perhaps feelings of anxiety, but I saw you like sitting in the midst of a bunch of clouded thoughts, trying to stay very rooted and centered, but kind of seeing it swirling all around you. So I got this sense that you were kind of looking for some clarity, not that you were afraid to sit with or look at those thoughts or the cloudiness, but almost just this like, it's so much, it's hard to even ground down. I know that's not what's being depicted here in this aligned card, but I am sort of seeing a lot going on, you know, around her head here. I suspect that there's a difficulty that you're struggling to overcome. And they're actually very much in line with overcoming it, but I wonder if that's not obvious. Like, I wonder if you feel blocked, whether that's your sight, your thoughts, because they are confused, let's say, not in a necessarily like negative or insulting way, but just like right now it's hard to get clarity. These two cards are interesting here. I'm wondering whether you're actually, I almost said you're doing better than you think you are. That sounds more trivializing of your current pain than I'm wanting to be. I'm wondering whether you've come a lot farther than you are recognizing. So right now, if you resonate with what I was saying about sort of sitting in the midst of these spinning thoughts or this cloudiness or these feelings of overwhelm and staying grounded but having a hard time seeing kind of outside of that, it's sort of like you're here, you're grounded, everything outside of you is cloudy. I suspect it took a lot of work to be able to do that, like just sit in the middle of the storm calmly. And I wonder if the cards are inviting you or wanting to talk to you more about, first just to call out like how far you've come. And sort of to say, like, perhaps there have been moments for you where when you faced a difficulty, you fell apart or you turned away from it. You didn't stay anchored in your own energy. You took on the energy of something or someone else. You stayed in an energy of fear, let's say, or I shouldn't say stayed in. You fell into the energy of fear, as we often all do. What I'm seeing for you right now, like kind of in that image I had, is that yes, you feel fear, but you're not falling victim to it, if you will. You're recognizing that it's there. And I guess what I want to say to you is like, fear is a part of you, and that's fine. That's normal. That's healthy and human, right? It's when we let it take over and run the show that we can get ourselves into trouble and make decisions that are out of alignment. But you are in alignment, right? You're facing a difficulty, but you're staying in alignment. So I get the sense that you're sort of in a stronger space than you realize. You have more going for you internally than you realize, perhaps. Something like that. But that's not at all, again, to take away from the pain that you feel. So I do think getting into the cards and looking deeper, I hope it offers you some clarity as well. I don't think it's just going to ask you for that. But essentially, that's the first message from the cards here. But I do think we want to dive deeper and see kind of what's going on that's making it hard for you to see that you're actually in a space of alignment right now. So if that sounds like something you want to hear more about, let's go ahead and look into it. Having a hard time with these cards. I did shuffle before. Needs a little bit more, I guess. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So let's see what we've got here. The Eight of Swords, the Nine of Pentacles, the Fool, the Knight of Cups, the Queen of Cups. What am I doing? It's interesting. Is this here? Okay then, be like that. Sorry, normally the cards don't want to come out so very out of order, but here we are. Okay, sorry I stopped speaking at that point. Knight of Cups, Queen of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, Six of Rods or Wands, King of Pentacles, Nine of Cups, Nine of Swords, Page of Pentacles. Okay, so let's take a look. This image right here, oops, is it gonna focus, is really similar to what I was seeing. What's funny is I was not picturing this card, but surely thoughts that circle around us and make us feel stuck. That is the energy that I saw you in. I don't think we need to say more about that right now, because I think that's essentially all I want to say. The only thing I would add is I see her hand here, like reaching for these swords, and it's almost like this, I want to reach out and grasp the truth of all of these thoughts spinning and circling around me, but I can't see clearly to do that. The energy that's causing tension here is this Nine of Pentacles card. I do think that this is that inner stability that I was talking about. I'm getting this sense that, again, there's this core self that might wax and wane, as it were. Your level of awareness of it might not always be at the same amount of strength, especially when facing something like this, but that you've done the work to really master that really core sense of stability within yourself. Now, that could be really literally, like financially or something like that, but that can also be like whatever it is that makes you feel stable, to have a lot of strength and effort put into, I guess I would say, whatever soothes your nervous system, whatever helps you feel calm and grounded within yourself, right? So that might be a level of self-care. It might be a level of self-trust. It might be a certain amount of comfort with your emotions, with your depth. It might be a deep faith in anything really. Yeah, I could go on and on, but I think that's the main energy here, is this, like, you've put in the work, right? And so maybe what you're wondering is, if I put in this work, like, why am I feeling this confused right now? Where I want to start with, like, what I want to start with here in this spread is the energy that you're about to move into, and that's the Ten of Pentacles. What's speaking to me in this card, I mean, this can mean many things, and many readers will read it as, you know, like an abundance of wealth, legacy. It's the card that comes right after the Nine of Pentacles, right? And so it's like this core energy here, you have mastered it, and you're now sharing it with perhaps another that has it as well, or others who have it as well. But you're able to build a life based on this, right? Full of things you value. So sure, that could be money, that could be other people, that could be family. My eye keeps going to this dog. That could literally be a pet. I'm also wondering whether, like, dogs often will represent loyalty, friendship, things like that. I'm also looking at this young child, so this could be something you're teaching to your child or children if you already have them. It could be something like you could be wanting to start a family, to build a family. Whatever it is, whatever is going on for you right now that's feeling really confusing, the end result feels really, really positive. So I think that is, again, like, kind of re-emphasizing the fact that things are, that you're doing better than you think you are. Like, your self-assessment, if you are sort of like, why am I struggling? Why am I overwhelmed? I need to figure this out. What am I supposed to do with this? Again, not to minimize that pain, but to say, like, that's okay. Like, stay grounded in it. That's okay. You can face pain. Fear can hang out. We don't need to let it run the show, but it can stay. The energy that you're not seeing, oh, sorry, I hit the table there. The energy that you're not seeing that's impacting this is this Knight of Cups energy. I sense a deep creativity, a desire to share your heart. That could, of course, be in a, like, romantic or intimate relationship. That could be with friends. That could be in your job. That could be in any way, but I don't take it to be an internal thing. I take that to be, like, some kind of communication, some kind of creative endeavor that's really meaningful to you. What I want to say is it's incredibly divine, and I think you might actually be very aware that you're trying to share something that is very dear to your heart. I think what you might not be seeing is how divinely inspired it is, how deeply it's rooted in innocence and purity, and just a really strong desire to love, to bring love and peace to others, which is an incredibly beautiful energy. And it's interesting, kind of me saying this isn't something you're necessarily seeing. I wonder if because you've done this work here, like that we were talking about with the Nine of Pentacles, I wonder if because of that, it's like hard for you to see that work has been, I suspect, internal in a lot of ways. I wonder if it's hard for you to see how beautiful this energy is that you're wanting to then bring into the world, and like what a gift it is to others. The energy you've just moved out of is the Fool. So hopefully at this point it is very clear what we're talking about, but if not, the Fool is a strong card. There is something you have very recently embarked upon with a lot of faith and trust. Again, I'm suspecting with this work that you've done, you were like, yeah, I'm ready for this. Like, I'm ready to take on something new. Often the kind of work that it takes to get to the Nine of Pentacles, we have our heads down. There's something challenging, difficult, you know, many things we have to go through to get to this place. And so I suspect you said, okay, yeah, I see what I've developed. I'm ready to take on something new. And I wonder if there's a part of you that's like, wait, what the heck did I do then? Like, if I took on this new thing and I was ready, like, why do I feel this confused? And I want to say something like, this is coming up to be healed. Because you're obviously ready. That's emphasized by the fact that you have this Queen of Cups card as what the energy that you know about yourself that's impacting this. And this is two things. I think speaking to how, I want to say psychic you are. If you don't associate with that, that's okay. Then I would just say deeply caring, compassionate to others and to yourself. I think that you know that you are ready to protect your heart. I also just get this sense that you feel so divinely protected and loved and guided, which again would make this energy even more uncomfortable. It's like, why do I have this roadblock if I know how aligned I am? And I think what the cards are saying to you is there is something, this new endeavor is bringing up something that wants to be healed. And it's probably something to do with creativity, with love, with vulnerable expression. And you're being asked to see that it's actually incredibly divine. And not only that, but it's something that it's taking you somewhere incredibly stable, meaningful, lasting. So it's almost like this idea of don't let these obstacles in your path be evidence for you. I think it can be incredibly hard when we're walking a path of spirituality, especially if we know very clearly that we're aligned, we're connected, we're loved, we're protected. It's like, well, then why is this going on? Why are things hard? Why is there a roadblock? And it can kind of get us in our head, and we can start kind of questioning and going through, you know, old tapes. All these thoughts come up that are like, well, hold on, you're this, you're that, you're not enough, of course they don't like you, of course you're never gonna get that job, you know, whatever it is. And I think you're being asked to sit in the stability and the strength and the loving space you've created, and to see these thoughts without giving into them. I shouldn't say giving into them, like without like letting them flood you, overwhelm you. Okay. Oops. So what are you trying to do here? You're trying to succeed. Hold on one second. Okay, pile two. Sorry about that. The kiddo needed some second dinner, as one does. Okay, so I think we were looking at the Six of Wands, and I was talking about success over something. I think what you're aiming at is success, I suspect, over these demons. I don't know if I want to say much more about that, other than I can totally understand and respect that. I'm curious to see if we get more messages about that. But I guess the one thing that's coming up for me is kind of to be careful that in this desire for success or to win over these fears, you're not negating them. So as I said, right, it's like you don't want to give into it, let fear flood you and make decisions from that place, but you also don't want to beat it down, repress it, shame it, as it were. Like, that's a part of you, and it's a valid part of you. And I think if you sit with it and hold some compassion, that might help you transmute that energy more effectively than trying to kind of win over it. That might not be what the energy is here, but that's the kind of caution that's coming through for me. Okay, the energy that's around you that's impacting this is the King of Pentacles. This might well be a particular person in your life, but I'm getting the sense more that this is an energy, that you could actually probably look around and find this in lots of places. I'm not saying the King of Pentacles is a negative card, but I am getting a negative energy from it in this reading. I'm getting the sense that this is somebody disapproving. This is somebody that has had power over you. This is somebody where in the past you thought, oh, to get to this stable, long-lasting place of legacy, I need to please this person who, you know, can pull the strings, as it were. So this could be a parent. This could be a boss. It could be a series of bosses. This could be an ex. It could be all of the above. This could be society in general. This could be capitalism. Again, this could be any number of things, but it's something that's saying to you, I just get this, like, look, you want this coin? You want this coin? You have to come play by my rules. Come play my game. And I keep wanting to say, make yourself smaller. And I think this is coming up not because this is something that's currently threatening you, although it might be, or it might feel that way. So I don't want to minimize that if that's true. But I'm getting more the sense that this is like a ghost. That, like, this space that you're in when you've had this difficulty, this is the person whose voice is holding you hostage here. So the truth that you're grasping for is likely that this person is wrong. But it might well take some time and some effort to sort of look at those beliefs and ask yourself whose they are. Like, are they really your beliefs? Or is this something you've inherited from, again, any number of people? Your hopes and fears, here we've got the Nine of Cups. It's wish fulfillment. It's feeling contented within yourself. And I think sometimes when I use the word contented, I can worry that it has like a stagnant energy to it. I think it's very much the opposite. It feels livelier than that. It feels like enjoying your own heart, your own company. And what it's feeling like to me right now is the enjoyment of the life that you're wanting. So it's kind of like, okay, like I took this risk. What I'm really wanting, what I'm really hoping for is for it to come to fruition, less so that I can like possess something in particular or whatever it is. Like it feels less outcome based and more of this like, and whatever the outcome is, it will be one that feeds my heart. like I get this very like internal, like I get the idea of somebody who's maybe sitting in a group of people, sitting at their new job, you know, sitting on their date with this person, whatever it is, and they're smiling to themselves, like they're taking a moment alone to just grin and be like, look what I did, look what I brought into my life. Not to minimize the gift that it is, to celebrate the gift that it is, and to know that your alignment with the universe, with the divine, with love, has allowed you to get to this place where you can feel your heart this full. It's interesting, of course, thinking of it also as a fear, right? I wonder if in the past things have come into your life where you felt this way about them, but they were false, or they were short-lived. I wonder whether things came into your life that said, hey, we will be this for you. Look, I'm your wish fulfillment. Again, whether that's literally a person saying that, whether it's a job, whether it's just like this idea you had of a particular life that you thought, oh yes, this will bring me this feeling. And it was like, hold on, that's not right for me at all. Maybe that would be right for somebody else, but it's not bringing me this joy, this satisfaction that I was anticipating that it would. And so I wonder if what you're afraid of is like, is this more of the same? Is this thing I took this risk on actually not the right thing for me? And is that why there are these roadblocks? Are these actually divine roadblocks that are stopping me from getting what I want? Because it's not really what I want. It's not really what's in alignment with me. But I think that it is. I think in this case, these roadblocks, they might be divine roadblocks, but what they are is divine roadblocks to help you overcome this final hurdle, to help you ground into yourself, to heal these thoughts, to get rid of this guy. We're done with him, whatever it was that he taught you. And to come into this energy of actually feeling really happy, satisfied, and grounded. Finally, we've got this card, which I take to be kind of like the key to the outcome that you're looking for. And it's so interesting that it's the Nine of Swords, which is so often a card of anxiety. In this case, what I'm thinking is the key to the outcome is to sit with these thoughts and to kind of like lovingly go through each one and ask, like, what is this thought? Is it true? Is it helping? Can I replace it with a different thought? Okay, what about this one? Is this true? Can I replace that with a different thought? You know, like, let's say this is a relationship and you're afraid, oh, well, maybe there's this roadblock because this is not the right person for me. Well, do I believe that? Or, you know, are the signs, as it were, pointing to it being the right person for you? Do you feel happy and safe in their presence? Are they demonstrating that they're a trustworthy person, right? Then maybe there's a sword that says, well, you're too much. And that's why maybe they're not texting you all the time or something, you know? And then you could ask yourself, well, is that true? Or are they going through a lot right now? You know, if it's to do with, I don't know, let's say like a creative passion that you're looking for, if it's to do with, you know, getting a new job, whether it's wanting to start a family, whether it's, as I said before about this, getting a pet even, right? It's kind of like, oh, well, it's not a good time because I've got XYZ going on. Well, it's to sit down and say, well, like, is that really true? Does that mean it's not a good time? Is there a way I can work around that? Like, just basically sitting with these thoughts and saying, okay, hold on, what's true here? Because you have the strength to do that. Looking at this bottom of the deck energy, I often think of this as the chapter that you recently came out of. You've got the Page of Pentacles here. I can't shake the thought that this person's eyes look quite sad for some reason. don't know that I've seen it that way in the past, but because of that, I think I'm reading it differently than I normally would. But I get that you were trying to build something and it wasn't working for you. It didn't bring you the happiness you thought that it would. Not that the thing was bad, and not that it wasn't necessary to your journey, right? Not that the decision to engage with it was bad. I think it was something that allowed you to play and know yourself and be innocent and learn what you valued and sort of learn what foundation you wanted to build. And in the end, it wasn't what was going to sustain you. It was not the foundation that you wanted to carry forward into the future. And so I suspect there is some sort of a sadness to move on. And I wonder if that's impacting this, right? Is there some kind of loss involved? Because this starting over with the Fool, it sounds exciting. It looks like fun, right? And it is, and it can be. But something else has to close in order for this new beginning to happen. And so I wonder if there is a sadness and a letting go, and I wonder if that's impacting this. It's like, is this really aligned? Should I go back here? And I wonder if this voice, as it were, is pointing you back here, right? Like, thinking of this as the King, the Page of Pentacles, both Pentacles court cards. Are these roadblocks suggesting, actually, you shouldn't have walked away from this. This was going to take you from the Page to the King. But it wasn't fulfilling you. It wasn't fulfilling your heart. And you have, as I said, you've done the work to know that. And you know that you're aligned. Remember that you have, that this is like divine energy here. The love, the creativity, the emotion that's trying to fill your cups right now, to fill these 9 cups, it's divinely led and divinely guided. You're seeing all the synchronicities that you're seeing. You're feeling all this divine guidance that you're feeling because it's coming from this place of innocence and alignment. It's coming straight from your heart, I would say. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to say before we go into a card of advice. I don't think so. I think all I want to say is I'm really moved by how powerful a spirit you have. I feel, like when I tapped into your energy right away, I feel such a strength from you. And I just want to highlight that. May gratitude lift you up. I feel you so tapped into divine energy and so grounded in it. And I don't know whether you have a practice around that, whether that is something that you kind of intentionally picture, whether there's particular guide or spirit or God or the universe or whatever it is. But whatever is happening, I get this sense that you are deeply in touch with your heart space and the protection you have around it. And that is incredibly powerful. It's normal for anyone, even somebody with this kind of strength, to still have past wounding, past traumas. It's normal to have inherited beliefs and stories before you even, were aware or could speak, right? Like, we all have these worldviews and these experiences. This is obviously something that's deeply ingrained in you. And I think the advice is just to see that with compassion. The fact that you have all this strength means that you can. It means that this is something that's ready to be healed, right? So I think I would just say, look in the mirror and be like, damn, I'm powerful and grounded and divinely led. I can look at these fearful parts of myself with immense compassion because I have the power to transmute them. So let's see if there's any further advice for you about this or about anything else. Oh, the dog again, see? Which often represents loyalty, friendship. What's the advice here? I'm gonna get one more. What's the advice here? I know that the scythe is often read in a negative sense. Forgive me, I'm not seeing it that way. I'm seeing it more akin to these swords that need to be looked at. I think the advice, well, two things. The scythe is also something sudden. It's something that you can wield. So I think there's a way in which you are being advised to lean into your strength and your ability to kind of chop down the weeds that are in front of you. And to do it quickly, I want to say, so that you don't have to stay stuck in this place. I'm also wondering whether there's a loyalty that you feel to this voice, to the people and places that represent this voice, or perhaps this past, I was gonna say energy you were in, but establishment, relationship, whatever it was that you were part of. And to say, like, loyalty is a beautiful thing. Please be loyal to your heart first. So anything that's asking you for loyalty that is not aligned with this new direction, get rid of it. Now, let's say you're in a job and you're not in a position to immediately get rid of the job that you have right now. That's fine. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is get rid of that tie, that loyalty, whatever is holding you hostage here, these thoughts, get rid of them. And use this loyal energy to build the world, the establishment, the legacy, the family, the traditions that make sense for you, that uphold your heart, that bring you joy and satisfaction. Because that's what you're aiming at anyway. Like, that's where you're going anyway. You don't have a choice. I'm so sorry. Just kidding. Free will is real, but you're going somewhere great. Your energy is pointing here. Be loyal to this. Anyone or anything else that's asking for your loyalty in a way that would take away from this, I don't mean this to be mean, because they might be wonderful people, but they are, as it were, not your friend. So get rid of the thoughts that are tying you to this. You're not demonstrating a lack of loyalty by deciding you believe something else, that you want something else, that you want happiness for yourself, that you want a stable life for yourself, that you want to bring into the world concretely whatever it is that has been on your heart, that you did all of this work to get towards. So the advice, the final advice, and I know I'm repeating myself a whole bunch, so sorry about that, but the final advice is to, as you're analyzing these thoughts, release this story that you need to stay loyal to whatever it was that got you here, other than you and love and groundedness in the divine. These obstacles are here to help you do that, to help clear the way so that when you're here, you know that this is happy. You're not questioning it. You're not being suspicious. You're not looking over your shoulder. You're not being paranoid. You're just able to actually feel this happiness because you've released these fears. Be loyal to you. Other people will join in. Okay? So be compassionate with yourself. Again, I am totally in awe of you, Pile 2. Thank you so much for being here. I think those are all of the messages that I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this reading or that it was helpful. If you did, Please feel free to like the video, share, subscribe, comment, let me know how it resonates. But regardless, I hope that I will see you again soon. I'm sending you so much love. I hope you take care of yourself, and I will see you again soon. Bye. Hey Pile 3. If you chose the Muse Tarot and this Amazonite, welcome to your reading. I'm just going to get these out of the way while we look at these pre-shuffled oracle cards that are going to give us a sense of what's on your heart right now. So if this matches something that you're wanting to hear more about, then stick around. So for the first card, we have Stronger. May you find your roots wherever you walk. For our next card, we have 35, the Anchor. For our next card, we have number 38, Neglected. Sorry, I try to center those a bit more. And for the last one, we have Miracle. May a miracle come to you. Okay, I can still see all of that, right? Okay. Okay. Pile 3. When I was tapping into your energy before I started the reading, I felt this like it was so hard for me to tap into my intuition, which I'm not saying I'm tapped into it all the time, but when I sit down to do a reading, it's usually really easy for me at this point, you know, after a lot of practice. And I felt like I couldn't, or like I wasn't listening. Like it was like I could hear it and I just couldn't listen to it. And then I saw this image of someone turning away, not unlike this neglected card. I wonder if I get the sense that you've never felt like you could really rely on anybody. Not totally. Maybe there were situations where you could rely partially, but kind of in exchange for something. I think whether you were literally neglected as a child in a relationship, whatever it was, whether you've neglected yourself, whatever is going on here, I think you feel a very pervasive lack of stability from, I want to say the world around you, but like those who should have provided stability to you. Looking at these cards with like, may you find roots wherever you walk and may a miracle come to you. I suspect there's some sort of event, change coming to you. This could be something like that you're externally seeing, thinking about. It could be something you're just feeling energetically. It could be both. I think it reads as a miracle, not because it's not, but I think because it's hard for you to believe that your path could take you somewhere stable. I really want to get into the tarot cards because I'm very curious about what's going on here. But if that sounds like energy that you're currently in, go ahead and stick around. Also, I see that my stupid battery is dying. Hold on. I'm gonna pause and replace the battery, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I love how I felt the need to call my camera battery stupid. I made a joke the other day to my daughter saying something about how I don't always show my Aries, but when I do, it's 0 to 60. So, you know, I noticed my battery dying. I decided it was stupid very quickly, but I'm sorry, battery. I hope you have a good time charging. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at your tarot. As I was saying, I'm really curious to hear more about what's going on for you right now. So let's see what we've got. Got the Three of Wands, the Ace of Cups, the Eight of Cups, the Devil. Sorry, I'm trying to fit them all in here. The Four of Wands, the Lovers, Five of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, Three of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, and on the bottom of the deck, got the Eight of Pentacles. Okay. I'm just gonna put you over here. And yeah, you can hang out up here. Sure. Okay. Pile 3. Let's see what we got. I keep pausing with you guys because I'm having a harder time tapping into the energy because, like I said, I'm not listening to my intuition as well as usual. Let's start with the Ace of Cups. Not normally where I start, but sorry, wow, I'm like really in my head. I don't know if this is how you guys are feeling. If it is, I'm so sorry to hear it, and I'm here with you through it. Let's see if we can make some sense of it. This Ace of Cups. I just get the sense, again, I know not traditional meaning of the card, but I don't know why I said again. I get the sense that you're pretty bogged down emotionally right now. And for some reason I want to add by your own emotions. So maybe you're somebody who often picks up the emotions of others, but right now you're feeling bogged down by your own emotions. It could be that this feeling of neglect is something that's coming up to be healed, and perhaps that's something that has kind of been with you for a long time, but you haven't really felt the full force of it. I'm also getting the sense that these emotions are coming up to be healed because I almost want to say like you're starting over with something, like in a huge way, like not just starting a new chapter, but starting a new book. Like I get the sense that this emotional purge here is allowing you to completely close one book, one part of your life, one entire belief system, one identity, and step into a completely new life. But I suspect right now, as these emotions are coming up, you might feel like you're drowning. You might feel like it's hard to even get enough air to keep going. I think that energy is being held in tension with the fact that you're seeing this new book, this new life, this new chapter, and I suspect it excites you. I suspect you see all of the growth and work you've done to get you to this place, to be able to do this. And I think you see what's coming. And like my eye is being drawn to this kind of gap between these dominoes here. And you're like, okay, I see how I've gotten where I am now. I see how things could be happier in the future, but I don't understand how to get from here to here. There is this gap. And I think that's what's coming up to be purged in this moment. And I wonder if it feels like a void. I wonder if you do feel really disconnected from your intuition, from yourself, from spirit, the universe, whatever it is you you have faith in. One message the cards want to give you is that all of the work that you've had to do to get to this place is over. So part of what's changing is this need to kind of consistently be working. Whether that's, what I want to say is like working so hard to care for yourself. I think there are others that want to come in and help care for you. The energy that you're walking away from with this Eight of Cups, I do think you've had to leave something behind. That could be actually literally, but because this is cups, right, I often think of this as emotions. So you recently did the work of kind of looking at the things you were going after for emotional fulfillment and determining which of them actually filled you up in a way that felt sustainable and meaningful to you personally. And so you've done that discernment, right? And you've taken the action to walk away, at least in your mind and in your habits, I would say, from whatever it was that was not emotionally fulfilling you. For some reason, I want to say, like, it doesn't mean anything in your life externally even changed. But I think you're more clear now, like coming into this, on what it is that actually fills your cup. The energy that you're moving into with the Devil here, I know the Devil can be a scary card. What I'm getting here, though, is I'm actually getting a lot of mastery from this. Like, I'm getting the sense that you are going to be the one pulling these strings. That, like, because these emotions are coming up to be purged, that's going to allow you to look at your, I want to say, neural pathways that typically get triggered by these things. And as they come up and they're purged out, you'll be able to see them more clearly and kind of pull the strings for which neural pathways you're going to use now. So I'm actually seeing the Devil card in the sort of highest expression of it, in the sense that the energy you're moving into is one where you'll be able to clearly see places where you've felt trapped, lost, overwhelmed, because certain stories were just playing on repeat just beneath the surface. And you'll be able to see them and decide whether or not you want to let that continue. And if not, to do the work that you need to do. But as I said, kind of, we're leaving work behind. I actually think it'll be a bit easier than that. I mean, I'm using the word work because it's something you're going to attend to and make an effort towards, but I actually think it will be sort of easy, which I know sounds really strange looking at this Devil card. But I just get this sense that you'll be like, oh, that's what I was doing? Oh, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to tell that story anymore. I don't really believe that. And that kind of those programs that were running in your brain are going to just be burned away and released. Again, I want to say with a lot of ease, because I think, like, the hard work has already been done. So, like, as you see them, you'll be like, oh, cool, okay, well, let me just let that go. Now, here's an interesting card for you. The energy you know is contributing to this is this Lover's card. What I want to say here is that something has recently come to bloom for you in your heart, whether that is like intimate love with another person, you could be with them or not. It could be, you know, in a very broad sense, like a life that you want to live. It could be a choice that you're wanting to make, but essentially, like, this happy life that you're, you know, you see as a possibility that you're walking towards, right? this miracle that you feel coming. Again, you have done immense work. You have come up out of the mud, allowing you to even see this choice before you. And so I think you know what's affecting this is this choice for this beautiful life, heart-centered love. Again, it could be in a romantic sense, but it could be just in general. That you suddenly can see as a possibility, that is being divinely offered to you, that you've been supported through this process, and now you see the quote-unquote reward of that. But I don't necessarily mean that in an outcome sense, but more in a like, oh, I can choose happiness. Like, I'm not a victim of where I came from, of my own mind, of these patterns. And I don't mean to minimize what you've been through, because I mean, it sounds like it was horrible. But it's to say, like, you are no longer wanting to be in that victim mentality. And I think you see a place where you can overcome that. Kind of like, oh, I'm stronger than I thought I was. Oh, I have a right to happiness. Maybe sounds really basic, but I think when you've been through some kind of abuse or neglect in whatever way, I think it can be just like, oh, life can be happy. Like, I deserve happiness. It doesn't even have to be like this big, deep statement. It can be just a really basic understanding of life in a different way than you've ever been able to see or experience before. The energy I think you don't see is this Four of Wands energy. The first thing I want to say is I think it's hard for you to see how much the people around you who love you are rooting for you, how much your community is celebrating you. And I want to say it is eager to continue to celebrate you. You know, the Four of Wands comes after the Three of Wands. And I think you're looking towards the future and you're in this planning energy, perhaps not seeing that a lot of your work is already completed and is being celebrated by the people that are around you. I understand that not everybody has kind of a group of people, as it were, around them to celebrate, but hopefully if you pause, you can think of 1, 2, maybe 3 people in your life at least that you know want the best for you, would celebrate your success, even if they're far away, even if right now they are not in the place, that their hearts absolutely beat for you and for your happiness and are celebrating that with you in spirit, if nothing else. And so I think perhaps the reason this card is here now is to kind of remind you to lean into that. And that can be in an explicit way. Go ahead and call a friend, talk to them about what's going on for you, just connect with them or something like that. But it also could be just kind of pausing, putting your hand on your heart and remembering that there are people who are holding you really dearly. I think especially if you're sort of in this space where you're really focused on your own emotions, it might be hard to see the people that are around you simply because like you're very focused on this transformation. And I think the cards just want to remind you that that doesn't mean they're not here and they're not rooting for you. Okay, so let's look at these cards we have over here. I'm just gonna move those out of the way while I look at each one. For what you're trying to do to resolve this right now, we've got the Five of Swords. This is a rough energy. Let's be honest about this. You don't want to listen to your thoughts right now. I suspect your thoughts are pretty painful. I mean, we do have this devil showing up, as I said. You're probably hearing all kinds of previous beliefs whether from the people that neglected you, from the stories that you internalized because of this neglect. I want to say something about like, you know, oh, you can only rely on yourself, things like that. I think what you've been trying to do is like shut down. I want to see like these more hopeful thoughts with this, just like, no, I don't trust you. I can't trust you. You haven't been there before. It's very much in the energy I was tapping into before the reading started, right? Where I said like, it's just this, like, I can't listen to my intuition or to, you know, whatever it is, the universe, spirit, God, right now, because I know what happens when I trust people. I get hurt. I end up in a space of neglect. But miracles are coming. And I fully understand. I relate to this really deeply. But I think this card is here to show you sort of the kind of what's going on, what you're doing, and that the voices that you're shutting down are actually voices coming from your heart, coming from a place of peace, coming from a place of wisdom in you, that you can trust in yourself. The energy going on around you that's impacting this. I wonder if you have people around you in your life who are just a lot more settled or stable than you are, whether that's with their job, whether that's with a partner and a family, whether that's, it could also be that they're just more aligned with what it is that they want. Like they might not feel or be stable in those more traditional senses, but they're on a path that feels really grounded for them. And I wonder if you're comparing yourself to this. Like I get the sense that you're like, hold on, why am I not here yet? And thinking like, am I not capable of building this for myself? I mean, I didn't get it from anybody else, so I thought, well, maybe I could do it on my own. How come I haven't reached this level yet? This place of stability and abundance, in whatever way that resonates for you. It's coming into my head like, why am I not able to support myself, or my family, my children, things like that. And I want to leave that there for a second. We might come back to it, but I think that's all I want to say about that for right now. This hopes and fears, we have the Three of Cups here. I think you want so much to be mirrored. I just get this deep sense that you want to be mirrored, to be seen, to be understood. That this emotion that you're feeling, these desires that you have, this experience that you're going through, you want a community to do it with, so that it doesn't feel like it's drowning you. It feels like something we're all in together. I think also something where when you're in a darker space with it, you have people around you who can say, oh yeah, I've been there. It gets better, it gets lighter. And I know when I'm there, you'll be able to say the same for me. I think it does feel like this deep, like, yes, maybe I have people celebrating me and loving me, but I want to be seen kind of deeply, intimately with my emotions. And I wonder whether because of this experience of neglect, you have a hard time really bearing your heart with people. I was actually just saying this to my therapist the other day. I can say pretty deeply emotional things without feeling like I'm being vulnerable. Perhaps that's like therapeutic training and experience, but I think it's just a personality trait probably. But I think what you really want is whether it's a person or a community or a life, whatever it is, but somewhere where you can be like in the darkness and be held and be seen. But I see it with, I see it with friends more than with family or a therapist or a partner. Not that any of those things are bad or wrong. I think they're all beautiful. Have all the things, please. But it seems to me like what you're craving is to have this with friends. Why this would be a fear, of course, is if you've been neglected and you haven't felt stable, you probably haven't felt emotionally safe either, right? Well, if the people that are supposed to protect and take care of you aren't doing that, you know, like, is the world safe? You might have also been emotionally neglected, right? And so sharing like your moments of darkness, of quote unquote weakness, right, where you feel overwhelmed, overcome, whatever it is, might feel like it might have very much been unsafe. Perhaps you were criticized for every time you cried, right? Like, you told that you were weak, things like that. You guys get the picture. We all have our different permutation of how that might have happened to us or to somebody we know and love. I think it's terrifying to seek that out again, to be vulnerable when we've received that kind of response. But I think that's what your heart is really longing for here. Okay, and then finally we have this Knight of Pentacles card. Although I love this horse, like, looks like it's really going for it in a way that the Knight of Pentacles horse doesn't typically. This card is in the position of kind of like the key to the outcome for you. What I want to say here is the cards are asking you to take action in the material world and be intentional about it. See if it brings you growth, stability, happiness, right? And this can be in all kinds of ways. But just, I think in general, if you're building, as I said, kind of you're starting a whole new book, a whole new life. You've got the knight here, not the page. You're not playing. You see this happy life. You're clear on what you want, I think, in a lot of ways. Maybe not in the specifics, but I do actually think there are probably at least some specifics here, at least one, I would say probably more, of things that you want. There might be a lot of things you're unsure about, and that's okay, but I think you know really clearly how you would like it to feel. So I think relying on that and then taking action towards those things with intention and watching what the response is and taking it quote unquote slowly, if you will. But I don't mean slowly like, oh no, I have to be patient, this is going to take forever, it's going to be a lot of work. I actually don't mean that at all. I feel this like very calm, one foot in front of the other. I see what I want, I walk towards it, I notice fears that come up, I deal with them, I find support, I feel clear on what I want still. Awesome. Okay, let me take the next step. It feels less like work and more peaceful. And I wonder if it's hard or uncomfortable simply because it's not something you've really had the opportunity to do before. But like, this is what builds stability, right? This is the court card that comes right before this Queen of Pentacles that we were talking about. You're on your way there. You're almost there, I want to say. I think the only difference between the Queen and the Knight in this case is that the Queen has done this enough times that she knows she can do it. It's a skill that she just does naturally, that she's not thinking about. And for you, it's something that you're being intentional about. Like with anything. It's like breaking a habit, but again, it's a habit that's ready to be broken. So it's not like it's going to be this horrible, like I have to quit something cold turkey that I'm addicted to. No, it's just, oh look, I'm building a new life. It's going to feel quote unquote strange because it's new. And it feels good, so let me keep doing it. I feel called to say this is what is bringing miracles into your life. that might be hard to believe because the Knight of Pentacles is not traditionally one that is thought of bringing miracles, but it is. As you just focus on each step in front of you, miracles are going to unfold. And you might be a little bit confused and wonder how they got there. But I think very much the cards are inviting you to welcome that in. And to recognize that with each step you take, you are putting down new roots for this new life that you're ready for. And I think it is coming through this perhaps deep sense that you're supported by real live humans around you who love you. And I say around you, again, they might not be in your specific vicinity. I totally understand that. Some of my closest friends are not in the same state as I am. But whatever is going on here, you are walking towards this stability for yourself. Not just stability in the way that most people think of it, not the kind where you have to sacrifice yourself, not the kind where you build up a whole life and then find that, I'm thinking of something somebody once said to me where they said, like, when is it my turn? Like, I did all the things right, I gave to all of the people around me, and it was never my turn. I was never seen. You're building a stable foundation that honors you and what you want and need. Your heart is being honored. Like, you're building a stable foundation for your heart. And how beautiful. You're doing what was not done for you. You're helping yourself feel physically safe, emotionally safe, right? And that's gorgeous. And you're ready. And quote unquote, all it takes is for you to keep taking one step at a time in the material world. And just seeing how it feels. As long as it feels good, keep on going. I feel like that was a lot. In the sense that, I want to say it feels heavy. It does not feel heavy. It feels profound. And so it feels strange to just kind of like, all right, let's wrap up. But I think that's all that needs to be said right now. Let's see if there's any further advice for you. Get a card or so of advice for pile 3. Okay, the Man card wanted to come out. And the Sun. I think the advice for you right now is to take action towards what makes you feel happy. I think it's to lean into playfulness and happiness. I know when we talk about building stability, leaning into playfulness and happiness might seem strange, but I absolutely think that's what you're being invited to do. I think you're building a stable foundation that makes you happy based on things that light you up. And I don't know if part of what you're releasing is the belief that that's even possible, that your happiness even matters. Your happiness might feel quite tender and vulnerable because it's not something you've had the ability to even look at before. But I think the advice to you is to really focus on what brings you happiness and to keep walking towards it one step at a time, because it is possible for you and it is literally unfolding for you right now. The roots are there. What might feel confusing right now, it's just past pain that's coming up to be purged. I don't want to say just in a way that minimizes it. I bet it feels excruciating. And you've done the work. Like, this stability is in you. You've done the work to be able to sustain this, for this to feel ready to come up, to be healed. Okay? So keep looking at what makes you happy. Remind yourself, every time you get overwhelmed in this, be like, okay, but does this make me happy? I'm so sorry. The recording, excuse me. Wow. The recording got cut off because it went to 30 minutes. Wow. And I lost my voice right there at the end. That's hilarious. It's like that last statement of this happiness is possible. when you're feeling overwhelmed, realize that you already have the foundation to be able to sustain it. And I think what I was actually saying right there at the end was, it might be as you walk towards happy things that these past emotions come up. And that's bringing up stories for you. They're not true. Okay? If you're walking towards something, I think a message the cards really want you to have right now is that what you're walking towards, what feels happy, you can trust yourself. That you know what feels good and right to you. Okay? So when these emotions come up and the neural pathways fire and you hear stories about how horrible this is and how you're probably doing the wrong thing and you're probably just going to get hurt, it's probably going to go badly, and these people are probably going to neglect you or abandon you or whatever it is anyway, they're not true. So you keep walking towards your happiness. Keep focusing on what makes you happy. Keep asking yourself, hold on, if I put down all of those past stories and emotions, does this make me feel happy? And I just heard, like, your heart will scream yes. Okay? And when you hear that, know that's an invitation to release the stories, the neural pathways, the fears, whatever it is, and to allow those miracles to unfold. Because this happiness is meant for you. It would not be here. It would not be in your heart. Your heart would not be screaming or singing or whatever it is your heart is doing. Whispering maybe, but I got the sense your heart's going to yell. In a good way. That would not be happening if that happiness was not meant for you. So trust it. Keep walking one foot in front of the other. And enjoy this process as much as you can, because what you're doing right now is an incredible gift to yourself. The you in the future that is living in this new life, this new book that you made the binding for, that you built, that you did all this previous work to even be able to do, to even be able to close this past book so that you could build this new foundation in a new life where this neglect does not exist anymore. I mean, notice that it's mostly covered up. This younger version of you might not have ever even been able to picture what was possible. But the you today can, and you don't need to see how you're going to get there. You don't need to worry about it because you are getting there. So just keep taking those steps. And know that your future self is incredibly grateful that you did the hard work to completely change your life. So this is really inspiring. As I said, this feels really profound. I wish you all of the best with this. I think those are all of the messages that I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope that it was helpful. And if you did, feel free to like the video, share, subscribe, comment if you want to tell me how it resonated. But whatever the case, I just want you to know I am sending you so much love, so much support on this journey. The hardest parts are over. Yeah, I hope you take care of yourself, and I hope I will see you again soon.